Wait. What's that box doing there? That's weird. Ah!
I got you good, didn't I? You should have seen the look in your face.
Why would you do that?
Because it's important to remember that it's okay to be scared sometimes. I mean, look at me. I may seem like a hardened time-traveling rogue on the outside, but that doesn't mean my insides can't still get the pants scared off of them. Speaking of which, I have something to admit.
Okay.
Here, listen closely, and I'll tell you the tale.
I'd heard tell of a mysterious artifact that could provide you with anything you could ever need to defend yourself. Legend says it's hidden in a secret cave, but I found a map. I set out at once, only to discover that the mad scientist was on my tail. I dealt with him easily enough.
It's like a safe distance? All right then. Yeah!
But he sent his time hawks after me.
Time hawks!
I raced to throw them off my scent, and when I was sure I was alone, I headed for the cave.
Ooh, ominous.
Oh, I wandered the dark for hours. The caverns seemed endless.
Well, it never ends.
But just as I was about to lose hope, I saw it. The treasure which I sought, lying in a pile of rocks on the floor. Finally, it was mine. But that was when it showed up.
Oh, no. What is it? No. No!
What was it?
I don't know what it was. It was some sort of rock, but it walked like a man. And it had 6 eyes.
Oh.
Just the sight of it struck me with such terror. I plooped my way out of there as fast as I could.
Wait, did you just say ploop?
Yeah, you know, ploop, like this. Ploop.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, in my haste, I miscalculated the settings and I plooped my way right into this box. Oh, well. Here you go. Take it. It'll give you everything you need to defend yourself.
Okay.
In the meantime, I'm going to rethink my life. See you when you're done.
Okay. Anything else? Hello? Okay, yeah, he's gone. Alright, let's take a look at this thing. Kinda looks like the Trollhunters amulet. Ooh, let's see if there's an inscription. There is! For the glory of Merlin, craft supplies her mind command. Whoa, what the heck? Well, I guess it must have worked. Have some EVA foam, some pipe. What's in here? Bunch of paint. Ooh, Plastidip. Well, I don't really see how I'm supposed to defend myself with this, but I do see how I could make a sword of daylight.
Themes are fun!
And now it's time for Emmett's Informational Interludes, the part of the show where Emmett comes out and gives information. For those of you who don't already know, Trollhunters is an animated DreamWorks Netflix series about a teenager who discovers a magical amulet that introduces him to the world of the trolls. Whoa, no, not those trolls. Not those. I'm talking about the good, the cute, the huggable trolls made out of stone that carry weapons and will kill you if they're the bad ones. Those trolls, the cool ones. From this series, I had previously made Jim, the main character and first human troll hunter, Angor-Rot, and Blinking Arg, but they are not in this house because I gave them as a gift. According to the show, Merlin the Wizard forged the amulet in order to provide the troll hunter with a magical sword and armor. I guess this must have been one of his earlier prototypes. Now let's get to work. First things first, I should probably figure out how big the sword is. If only Mini Jim were accurately sized, but alas, his sword is too small. I'm sorry. He can hold the sword pretty comfortably with 2 hands, and then the blade is a little over twice as long as the handle. You may or may not know this about me, but I am not a very precise person, so I'm content to just eyeball the measurements and hope that I don't mess it up somehow. So assuming that Jim has realistic proportions, I'm going to measure the handle at 14 inches and then cut the blade off at 30 inches. That'll be a good starting point. If I need to adjust anything, I can adjust it as I put the foam on. Wait, why do I still have this thing? Oh. Now I need to measure out the foam. Huh. I hadn't really thought about what I was gonna do if that isn't long enough. I guess I'll just glue 2 pieces together. If I need it to be longer than the pipe, I can just cut it out longer. But first I should probably figure out the dimensions of the sword, and I'm gonna do that by drawing it onto cardstock. Trying to do math, I arrived at roughly 6 inches, but that doesn't look near thick enough. So much for my math skills. So I've got the basic pattern lined out, now I should probably figure out how thick I want it to be. For Stormbreaker here, I used 3 half-inch sheets for the blade, but I'm not sure if I want my Trollhunters sword to be quite that thick. I'm still going to use 3 layers, but I'm going to have 2 of the layers be this thinner stuff. What is that, 3/8? I don't know. That was loud. Now it's time to cut the foam. I don't think I should cut on this table, so I'm going to... Actually, probably wouldn't hurt that much, but I still want a cutting board. To do this, you need a sharp knife. But you also need caution, because sharp knives are not toys. This knife is not very sharp. According to my dad, you can sharpen knives with this finer sandpaper. Let's see if it works. Ooh. Needs to be sharper. Ooh. This is so wonderful. It's like cheese. It's like butter. Sharp knives are so much fun. I'd say it worked because this is really nice. Or as nice as I can get it. Unfortunately, I'm not very good at cutting my angles straight. But hopefully that won't be much of a problem. If I ever need to glue 2 ends together, I can just try to cut it off a little better. Next, I need to sand the texture off this thing and heat up this pipe and squish it so that it ends up about the same as that. To do that, I warmed the pipe up with a heat gun and then squished it in a vise. So now you know that. Also, for sanding the texture off of this, the best thing to use is like a belt sander or something like that, but I don't have one because I'm just a teenager with a hobby. So I use my dad's power tools, like grinders and such. They're somewhat indelicate tools to be used on foam, but if you're careful, they get the job done. Emphasis on being careful. But those 2 things need to be done out at the shop, and I don't really want to bring my camera equipment out there, so see ya. Okay, during the break I cut out the larger pieces and glued them together. I plan on gluing them in layers, and then gluing the pipe in, something like that. In retrospect, I probably could have cut all this out of one piece, that way I wouldn't have this seam up here. But I'm not too worried since I don't think it'll cause much trouble. Plus, I couldn't avoid seams entirely because I simply don't have foam long enough for this. To do this, I use contact cement. It's a little tricky because you put it on both pieces and then wait for it to partially dry before you stick it together. Okay. Ugh. I always forget how stinky this stuff is. Wonder if there's a reason for that. I'm sure it's fine. What? Older Emmett, what? Is everything okay?
Read the label!
What?
Read the label!
What? Read the... Extremely flammable? Vapors may cause flash fire. No. Harmful or fatal if swallowed. Vapors harmful. Oh.
Dadoy! You need to take care of me!
So should I put on a mask?
It couldn't hurt.
Should I turn a fan on?
Go ahead. I can breathe! Thanks, Sonny. Way to think ahead. Well, see ya.
Well, okay then, if it'll keep my future self safe. Okay, now that we're properly prepared, it's time to glue everything together. I don't really want to use this thing. I've seen this method on YouTube. I haven't actually tried it before, but it seems to make sense. This way you can squirt on the glue where you need it and spread it around with some scrap foam instead of messing with whatever the heck this is supposed to be. And this is when I run out of glue. Again, this happened to me before. I took one look at my contacts and I took one look at my supply and I'm like, it's not going to be enough. So I bought more. And I thought, oh yeah, I don't need any more than that. I was wrong. Apparently, you need a lot of contact cement in order to do this kind of project. This is going to be more expensive than I anticipated. Okay. After a quick errand run, two things have become apparent to me. First, I have been going to the wrong hardware store this entire time. And secondly, apparently this stuff is cheaper in bulk because this is like 10 times, 16 times the amount of glue for like twice the money. I don't fully understand that, but I'm not going to question it because it's a miracle. Hallelujah. 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 Dang it, why can't I say that word? Now it's time to crack this puppy open. To glue in the pipe, I use contact cement and hot glue. And then it's ready for the last piece of the blade. So after it was all glued together, I went ahead and sanded it down. And I must say, it's coming out pretty good. I added a little bit to the blade here to bulk it up. I was worried about the seams, but it doesn't seem like it's that noticeable. I think when I paint it, I'll be able to cover it up. It does seem a little bit wobbly. But that could just be how these things are. I've never made anything to this scale, so maybe they're always a little wobbly. It probably would have been a little more rigid if I hadn't squished the pipe, but then it wouldn't have fit. I guess I could have used something thinner like a wood dowel, but it doesn't really hurt anything. Now that it's sanded down and a little more aerodynamic, it definitely slices through the air better. So, in other words, the wobble isn't as noticeable. I'm probably going to put a little bit of super glue on some of the edges and cracks just to stiffen it a little bit. I did have some worries about whether it was too long or too skinny or if some of the seams would show. But now that it's all sanded down, my qualms have been quashed. Now it's time to add the handle and crossguard. Okay, regarding the scaled texture, I had an idea that was either a stroke of genius or it's just gonna fail miserably. I made sure this was really sharp, and then I cut the texture off a piece of foam because it kind of has not exactly a scaled texture, but it's a similar pattern to the handle. So I may try to wrap that around the handle for the grip. So I wrapped it in tape to beef it up and give it a little bit of a taper. I was going to put foam over this, but I think the tape is probably thick enough. Almost maybe too thick. Might want to take off the masking tape. I hope that contact cement sticks to duct tape. I might need to test that out real quick. Hold on. So, the result of my experiment. Doesn't seem like contact cement wants to stick to duct tape. Maybe it just needs to dry more. I don't know. It might stick to masking tape better, but I don't really want to take that risk. So I guess I'm gonna strip off all the tape and go with my original foam idea. I am gonna go ahead and cover it in this textured stuff, but cutting it off was pretty frustrating, so I don't really recommend it unless you've got mad skills. Well, I thought this was gonna work, but having it all put together, this thing is way too squishy. It shouldn't be this squishy. I mean, I know it's foam. I should have expected it to be squishy. I didn't think it would be this much of a problem. Though also it's a little too thick. I thought a thick handle would be easier to hold onto. It's not. Because I really do like the idea of having the texture here. And maybe it would work if I just applied the texture straight onto the pipe or had cardstock underneath. But then I'd have to recut all the pieces and strip it all off. I do have some usable pieces, but I don't know if it's worth it. So I guess I'll just go back to what I've always done and have fabric covering the handle. But that still means I'll have to strip everything off and start over. Again. I had this black shirt fabric from the amulet. I was thinking I could use that. But after perusing my sub-level resources, I did find some jeans that I kind of like the texture of. So I may use these. Oh yeah, that's much better. It's a lot more comfortable, feels like an actual handle, feels like I actually have control over the weapon. Because remember kids, it's good to control your weapons.
It's got a mind of its own.
Even if they are just made out of foam. Now it's time for the crossguard and pommel. The crossguard is going to be 4 pieces thick, with 2 pieces going over the sword and 2 pieces filling in the space between. I'm going to glue on those pieces to start with, then I'm going to slowly build the jewels around them, and then Dremel them all into shape. Alrighty, so I've carved out about as much as I want to with the knives, and now it is time for the Dremel. I smuggled this into the house. Hopefully it won't make a mess. Not that it was very tidy to begin with. I need to be careful when doing this because I don't want to round the edges too much, and I definitely don't want the Dremel to eat into the foam. I also do it over a trash can to hopefully catch all the dust. Alrighty, so I've got it all sanded down to where I want it. It did dig into the foam a little bit, but it's no big deal. And some of the edges did end up a bit rounder than what they look like in the picture, but it is hard to see, and I kind of like the way it looks, so I'm satisfied. Next, I need to add some panel lines along the blade. I'll draw out the panel lines with a marker, and then make the cuts with an X-Acto knife. I was holding the ruler to the foam to make sure I cut it straight, but even then I still wiggled the knife too much, and it made kind of noticeable mistakes. But I was planning on cutting just a tiny little V out of the foam, so hopefully if I cut around the wiggles, then it'll straighten it out. There, now those are some panel lines. I did mess up a little bit. There was one place where I veered off the wrong way, but I just super glued it a little bit, and hopefully it won't be too noticeable once I paint it. I was almost steadier without the ruler, and I'm a little bit confused about that, but there are some errors that I think just can't be avoided. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I think that's everything that I need to do before painting. So, the next step would be to heat seal it. Going over the foam with a heat gun will slightly melt the surface of the foam, sealing up all the pores and making the surface more paintable. It'll also burn any fuzzies off and hopefully make it a little more smooth. The heat gun did warm up some of the glue on the seams and they opened up a little bit, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem, I don't think. So, I'm pretty sure now it's ready to be painted. But first it needs to be sealed, and that is where the Plastidip comes in. It's a rubber-based... Why does this feel empty? Hold on. Well, what do you know? It feels empty because it is. I'm not sure what to do now. This amulet was supposed to give me everything I needed. I need to talk to somebody about this. Hey, me? Hey, me? Older, Emmett! Oh, what is it? Is something wrong? Yeah, this Plastidip that the amulet gave me, it's empty. Well, that's weird. Wait a minute, now that I think about it, the amulet didn't give me very much contact cement either, but I was already planning on buying more, so it didn't come to mind. Well, that makes no sense. Here, hold on. Let's take a closer look at this. Wait, what is that? What is that, fine print? Well, that's ridiculous. For ceremonial purposes only. Amulet is not to be held responsible for the state or quality of any supplies given. What? For help with product called... Well, that doesn't make any sense. Well, I guess it goes to show you should always read the fine print first. Rip off. So what do I do? Well, I guess you'll just have to go buy more. Yeah, I can't exactly do that. But why not? Well, you have to be 18 to buy the stuff at Walmart, and I'm not. Hasn't stopped you before, has it? Well, I didn't know about that rule at first, and for some reason they let me buy the first couple of cans. But the last time they questioned me, and I had to put it back, and now I'm spooked. So shop locally. Hardware stores don't have these silly rules. Either that or they just assume pastors' kids are trustworthy. They don't sell it. Walmart's the closest place, and even that's a bit of a drive. Well, I guess there's only one solution, isn't there? Grow a fake ID and go buy yourself a mustache. Or, you could just use Mod Podge. Oh, right. Why didn't I think about that before? Did I? Well, I guess that's all I need then. Goody. Okay. Okay then, so it seems Mod Podge is my best course of action. But before we get started, I'd like to pose a personal inquiry towards the Walmart. What exactly decides these age limit rules, huh? Like, why do you have to be 18 to buy spray paint? What, are kids gonna snort it or something? Spray paint. My insides are purple. I guess spray paint makes a little more sense because you can use it to vandalize things, which is dumb, but that doesn't really explain super glue. Recently, the same situation happened with this. I had been buying it for months, and then all of a sudden, nope, you gotta be 18. It's super glue. Why do you have to be 18? I mean, I guess it's a little bit dangerous if you glue yourself to something, but that isn't that hard. There's solvents or knives. Maybe it could have been used in too many school pranks. Do kids actually glue their teachers to chairs, or is that just something in movies? Okay. What the heck? Oh, darn. It would appear that my butt is stuck. Well, I guess I'll just have to take off my pants. My eyes! Oh, please don't tell me anybody eats it. That's right, kids, eat chemicals. It'll be the last meal you ever have. Okay, I should probably go a little bit easier on today's youth. The point of all this is, don't be an idiot. Getting back to the project, I've realized something. I think that I may actually like Mod Podge better than Plastidip. I haven't worked with it too much, but it seems like Plastidip has a tendency to come across very rubbery, because, well, it's rubber. And sometimes I like that, sometimes I don't. But for this one, I think I will actually like Mod Podge better because it will look a little smoother and shinier. That is if I take the time to sand down all the brushstrokes. I personally don't mind brushstrokes all the time. It depends on the project I'm working on. I think they kind of look cool in some situations, but this is a situation where I think I'd want it to be smooth. Because in the pictures, I think it looks smooth. At least I don't see any brushstrokes. But enough with theorizing, let's put it to practice. I wish I had a way of hanging this. Ooh, I have an idea. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna build a frame out of Connect. Yeah, this is not gonna work. I just feel kind of bad that they've been sitting there for years. So I need to come up with another idea. Ooh, errand run. I'm gonna build a frame out of pipe. Alright, so this is a little bit wobblier than I was expecting. I was originally going to make it 6.5 feet so that I could hang the sword more like this. But I accidentally cut it 5.5 feet, and with these connector pieces that must have bumped it up a couple inches because it's just slightly shorter than I am. Well, it hangs. I'll just have to sit down, I guess. Worked out halfway decently, actually. Now I just need to paint it. Even though it was inconvenient to film a couple days, I didn't really want to stop working. I'm running out of time! So I went ahead and Mod Podged it off camera and sanded it down a little bit. I used this wide sponge brush to put on the Mod Podge, hopefully it limited the brush strokes. And then I sanded it down as much as I wanted to. Like I said, I don't mind brush strokes, but it is good to knock them off a little bit. Also, I didn't want to sand it down all the way because the last time I did that with the Samurai Jack sword, I kind of killed my arm. And I didn't really want to do that again. I did try to focus a lot of the sanding on the cutting edge so that hopefully it'll look like it's sharpened. Any brush strokes that it did leave behind, I'm hoping will work in my favor once I paint it, because I do have an idea of what to do. Speaking of which, I'm going to take it and my frame out to the garage and then spray it with this silvery spray paint. Wait a minute. Yeah, that's full.
Oh, what do you know? It's silver.
I also squeezed what Plastidip I could out of that can and spray painted the handle. Now it's darker and a little more grippy. Now, while it's obvious that the cross guard is a dark blue, I've always had trouble telling whether the blade was blue or some sort of bluish silver. When I made Mini Jim, I was pretty sure it was blue. Now I'm thinking it's silver. It just has that magical bluish tint to it. It's like a little ray of bluish sunshine or daylight. Ha! Yeah, I bet that's how Merton named... Did I just say Merton? I bet that's how Merlin named it. Well, look at that. The sword I just made glows blue. I'm gonna call it daylight. I don't know why he talks like that. He just does. Unfortunately, I do not have the power to infuse this thing with magic. But what I can do is give it a bluish wash to hopefully bring out that shine. So without further ado, let's get painting. Here's a little tidbit about myself. I get a kick out of painting things. The more stuff like this I paint, the more I think it's kind of fun. Though my enjoyment sometimes mingles with my indecisiveness. And that creates an endless cycle of dark washing and dry brushing. Like the name suggests, dark washing is washing it to make it look dark and weathered. And dry brushing is when you use a very dry brush to bring out some of the highlights. But so often I can never really tell what exactly the color is, or I don't know what exactly I'm going for, so I just go back and forth between the two. This crossguard, for example, I repeated the cycle a few times, though in the past there have been times where it's taken me like a very extremely long time to figure out what color I was going for. I may tinker with it more at a later time, but for now I'm satisfied, so it's on to the blade. If I was just gonna keep it silver, then this is probably all I would do. I kinda like the way it looks. But I want it to have that magical shine to it. So, on with the blueing. Bluening. Let the bluening commence. Ah, wait. I shouldn't let myself forget to paint the jewels. I should probably do that first, just so that when I make it all magically looking, I can have the same shade of blue on the jewels and the sword. I should probably just declare this jewel to be done, otherwise I'd keep painting on until infinity and beyond. The blade was basically the same story as the jewel, I just had to tell myself to stop painting, otherwise I'd keep Otherwise that starts to happen. Yeah, I think it's done. Came out pretty good. The blueing did its job. It's blue, but just subtly blue. Know what I mean? Kinda has that magical shine I was looking for, but still looks silver. I guess the only thing that's left is to bask in its glory. I guess now it's just time to wait around for older Emmett to show up. Ah, speak of the devil. Ah, there you are. So, what do you have for me? Take a wild guess. Oh my gosh, it's Thanos' blade! But where's the other half? What? No, it's the Trollhunters' sword. Why does everyone keep thinking it's Thanos' blade? Because it's Endgame, of course, and, well, you're you. I don't see what that has to do with anything. Well, you made the gauntlet, didn't you? That I did, but if you ask me, I'd say the gauntlet easily trumps the little bicopter blade thingy. But it's dangerous! It's a weapon of mass destruction! The blade, on the other hand, is just a cool-looking knife. Not if you think about it. I mean, this thing doesn't actually do any permanent damage, but the bicopter blade, on the other hand, ooh, just think about what we see that thing do. Oh, no! Yeah, we're never getting that back. But we do get it back. What? You know, at the end, he has it back. We see him with it. Wait a minute, you're right. But how, did he have to steal that? But how did he get it to... And what does that mean for the other... How's this even possible? Time travel! It never makes any sense. That's why I don't think about it. But you're a time traveler. So, you drive a car, that does make you a mechanic. Fine, whatever. Now, do you want the sword or not? But I already have a sword. Oh yeah, am I ever gonna get that thing back? You will when you become me. Right. Well, in that case, I guess you just don't need this then. Why don't I hold on to it for a while? Oh no, I definitely want that. I was just hoping for some armor, maybe. I mean, the Pauldron of Singularity here doesn't exactly provide much protection. But armor is much harder to make, and I already have so much experience making weapons. Armor is cool, though. Yeah, but it costs more, and I don't really know where I'd store it. So, work for the money, and as far as storage goes, you're not a very organized person. You just pile things here and there. Why can't you just take the gosh darn sword? Okay, fine, I'll take it then. Gosh. Are we making too many Avengers references in this Trollhunters video? Yeah, we should probably stick to the theme. You'd think it'd be easy considering the whole amulet thing. Here, toss that over. I want to take a closer look. Man, I really do not know what to make of this thing. The first time around, it worked flawlessly, but the second and third times, it just kind of petered out. Yeah, I can see that, but you know what? I think I know how to fix it, though. We could remake it with aliens. That'd be fun, right? That would be fun. So did we fill our quota? Good enough for me. Goody! Now you can take this, and I'm gonna leave. Well, Well, what am I supposed to do with this thing, though? Keep it secret. Keep it crispy. Oh yeah. We're doing fine. Now I have to go. Huh. Okay. Well, guess that's that then. On to the next project. Oh yeah, am I ever gonna... Ow. What? 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 But it's dangerous. It's a weapon of mass destruction. Ow. I'm trying to have a growl. And it's hurting my throat. This shape is not very nerf. Sharp knives are so much fun, children. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Boo!
You should have seen the look.
Ah! Yeah, I'm okay. Can't quite make it out. For ceremonial purpose. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this while I'm sick.
So did you leave?
I'm here. You want me to leave?
Sure. That way I don't feel silly bursting out.
I feel like I need a stuffed tiger. Ah, there's some fine print at the bottom of this. Let me take a look-see. Hallelujah. 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 Dang it, why can't I say that word? What? 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 Are you concerned? Are you concerned about my tongue getting tied? Now it's time to head... Ooh. Unfortunately, I do not have the power to infuse this with actual bluish magic, so... I'm just going to rub my cheek on it. When I made Mini Jim, I just... When I made Mini Jim, I thought it was blue. Time travel! 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 So, you drive a car, don't you? Do you know how it works? Yeah, but, just take... Well, it's close enough for me. Close enough for me. Yeah, close enough. Goody! Whoops. Keep it crispy. 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 Now I have to go. And now I have to go. My eyes! No! Well, I guess I'll just have to take off my pants. You like to visit me while I'm filming, don't you? Say goodbye. Whoops. No, she doesn't want to say goodbye.